We're now going to look at doing a new stock adjustment. This can be found in the Inventory module, Stock Adjustment, and option 403, New Stock Adjustment. The transaction date will default to today's date. This is obviously relevant for the particular month that it's going into, and again, from an accounting point of view, the journal will go into the month that the transaction is linked to. When you go to do a new stock adjustment, it will default to an in. We can see an in and out. So for this particular demonstration, I'm going to do it as an in. In the reference code, I'm just going to put my initials to say I've done it. You can have reasons set up going to different nominal codes. If you do want to set these up, that is done in Inventory, Setup and Reason. Against the item name, I can search for the actual product, so I can type in H-gun and it will automatically find my handgun. We can see it's defaulted to the main warehouse, location 1, and the unit of measure is each. So what I can do, if I just tab across to the quantity, and in the quantity I'm going to say in here, I'm booking 10 in. We can see the cost has pulled £10, which is the average cost of the item. If we just tab down to the next line, then it will then allow us to select the next item. So if I type MON, we can see it's then brought the option for monitors. I can select all and click OK, which will then add them both in, again with the main warehouse and the location. Again, I can tab across to the quantity and I can just say I want 10 of those, and rather than tabbing, this time I'm going to arrow down because it'll keep me in that quantity column, which is where I want to be, and again I can just type in the quantity that I want. When you're on the particular item, at the bottom of the screen here you can see the current stock information for the item. What we can also see, obviously, is the quantity going to be in stock for all of these afterwards is we're going to have 10 of each of these in stock. Now, at this moment in time, the stock adjustment says to be generated. It hasn't been saved. It says an in. Once I click the save button, it will then book these into stock and it'll then create a journal. So if we just save that for the moment. So what we can see, adjustment in number 1. I can see here I've now got a journal, so if I click this view journal button, we can see what's happened is it's debited the inventory control account, and we can see it's actually done 10 times the actual cost price of the item, and it puts that into the description on each line, and we can see it's credited the cost of goods sold. What we can then see on the items down the bottom now is we can see we've got 10 in stock. If you wanted to go and look at that item, rather than coming out of that screen and going to inventory, item, and find item option 411, we can, where we see the hyperlink, we can just double click on that hyperlink, which will then take us to the product. So again, you don't need to come out of that screen. We can see here we've got 10 in stock. Again, I can double click on that and it shows me it's in location 1. If I go to the transactions tab, we can see here our adjustment in with the 10 and the cost price of 10. So if I close that, again, that's the same for the other ones. So if you wanted to go into any of those, we can just double click. So that's an adjustment in. So we're going to look at an adjustment out now. So again, same place, inventory, stock adjustment, new stock adjustment, but this time we're just going to change it to an out. Again, I'm just going to put my initials in the reference code. That's just a free text box that you can fill in. Item name, I'm only going to adjust out one of the items, so I'm just going to adjust out the handgun. Again, if I just type gun, I don't have to type in H-gun. It will then bring up anything that's got gun in the description, so we can see the handgun and the brown toy handgun for the holster. If I select my item, screen looks slightly different on here. We don't see the cost price at the end, but what we can do, again, we have the warehouse and the location. If I tab across and I just say I'm going to take one out of stock and tab, we can see, again, when we're on the item, we've got the stock information at the bottom of the screen, and up here we can see 1, so that's going to leave us with 9 in stock after we've done this adjustment. It says stock adjustment to be generated out, so at this point If I wanted to close out of this screen, I can still click the cross and say, do I want to save, and click no, and it won't save anything. However, if I click cancel and go back to it, because I do want to save it on this occasion, I can then click save. It says it's adjustment out number 1. If we view the journal, we can see adjustment out, we can see it's gone into January, and we can see it's taken 1 out at £10. Opposite way around this time, because it's an out, it's credited the inventory control account and it's debited the cost of goods sold. So if we just close that, and we can close that. You do have the print option if you wanted to print that particular paperwork for any reason. You tend to find you don't have to print everything from Enterprise because you can always go back and find it. Okay, we'll just close that, and we'll close the stock adjustment.